After months of delays, big changes could be headed to your mailbox, possibly making it worse.
I just had a friend who received a postcard in the mail just last week from Christmas of December 22nd.
Two sources familiar with the matter tell NBC News that a new proposal from Postmaster General Louis DeJoy would transform the way first-class mail works in America, eliminating two-day delivery and hiking prices for first-class postage.
What's going to change for me as a consumer?
Prices will go up, service will go down, and that people will be less happy with the Postal Service.
In a statement to NBC News, DeJoy said in part, this work is not only needed, it is long overdue, but declined to go into specifics. The proposal comes after the U.S. Postal Service reported losses of more than $9 billion in 2020, even as revenues rose, and Americans wait longer and longer for their mail. At the end of 2020, only 38% of mail was delivered on time, a fact the post office admitted in court. DeJoy, a supporter of former President Trump, was named Postmaster General by the USPS Board of Governors last year. He's been heavily criticized for changes that led to delays in mail-in balloting during the election. The delays hitting working-class families and seniors the hardest, as much-needed prescriptions, parcels, and payments fail to arrive where they're needed most.
My husband gets all his medication in the mail, and I'm worried about putting my order in, not getting the pills.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who rely on mail-order prescriptions, you can find out if your pharmacy offers delivery and ask your doctor and insurance company to provide a 90-day supply. If you're worried about late fees on credit cards, see if you can pay online or over the phone, as millions of Americans who rely on the Postal Service wait for them to deliver. Sarah Harmon, NBC News.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.